Oh, blimey. I got impatient. Well, let's hope this works better than the last time. And bear with me if I'm going to try to keep up with kind of multitasking here. I'm also going to be testing since my OBS hasn't been working properly. I'm going to try the whole audio thing through StreamYard. Thank you to Ronnie York. Check out Ronnie York's channel if you've yet to do so. He is the very polite gentleman that joined me on the last open panel. I don't know what tonight will lead to. Not feeling that 100. I was supposed to have get out early, but life happens. So real quick, hey, what's up, 8 White Dragon? Shabbat Shalom and welcome. You could be my first guinea pig, sir. Man, there's a lot on my mind. I don't know where to start. All right, let's start with like kind of diving right in. And Big Cat, I salute you, good sir. I'm gonna show you guys this video. Let me make sure I get this right. Remember, I'm rusty at this stuff. Okay, that's kind of right. Now, less. That's too much me. Come on. Okay, that's just the. Hey, Tricia, welcome. Good to have you. And anybody that I have not saluted or greeted or Shabbat Shalomed. Hey, Michael. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I would like to get you on. So quite possible. First and foremost, I want to test if I got the audio thing down finally. So here, I'm watching my phone to see if the screen I switched over to. Hey, Queen, welcome to the family. I don't want to say fam. You're my peeps. Okay, I'm gonna play this audio, and I'm gonna find out. Lewis, Liu is there. Let's see.
Video, and he already hems us up enough, and it's all on video. Yeah, it's a problem. And he shows his badge and says I'm a cop and everything. From there, you see him leave his driveway and go into the street, and then
Okay, so let's dive in real quick into what the hell we're about to watch. By the way, I have not vetted this video. I have not watched this video in any shape or form. I'm just so happy that I don't need to use OBS, even though I need to fix that. That I can do the audio. Okay, let me see the first comment. I'm a little nervous because this basically has to do with an officer that got caught by a citizen committing a felony, and I don't know what the felony is. Remember, this is not always a reality. It's a live channel, okay? If you're alive and you're living, you qualify to be on the show. So what's this? Wow, I'm so animated right now. That's why we have okay, not the number one speller in the world, but okay. That's why we have bad cop, because other cop cover up for them. Yes, okay, plural is not everybody's friend. That's cool, but I dig the message. Yes, they need to keep each other's. Now we got the plural safe, but this was wrong on all levels. Now you're using two S's. Thanks to the female cop who wanted to do the right thing. Okay, that's enough for me. Let's see. Let's make this a little larger. That's what she said. Okay, that's not funny.
attack Jeremiah.
Mess it up.
Yes, all on video.
What are you doing?
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, crikey. No. All right. It's okay. See? I had that planned out. We're just going to watch like this. I feel okay.
Sir.
I mean, you should watch the video. He looks
Okay, I want to watch
crazy.
the video.
Charging at him in the middle of the
Oh,
street.
big feedback.
It being on video is, yeah, it's a problem. He's got the whole thing on video.
Oh, boy.
Jeremiah was in the street. He came over and said, put your hands behind your back. You can see his phone get tossed. I mean, I don't know why. What does he think she
I
can
don't
go
know
back
why.
with
What
the
does he think he can go around
Yeah,
innocent people
it's a
for no
problem.
reason?
And then he comes at him, and you can literally see
All
the
right.
scuffle on camera.
So we're
The whole
starting.
camera like starts shaking and crap. His daughter's screaming and crying, and
start from
he
the
said
middle.
he had his knee on the back of his neck.
Officers watching citizens video of off-duty cop attacking him in front of his 5-year-old. So this guy commits a felony, and I'm assuming consequences are given.
It's all on video, and he already hems us up enough, and it's all on video. Yeah, it's a problem.
On December 11th, 2022, a couple and their young daughter were walking through a neighborhood on their way back from the grocery store. As they walked past the residence of 400 Eagle Trail in Springfield, Illinois, the little girl accidentally dropped a bag of candy in the road. The resident of 400 Eagle Trail came out of the house and yelled at the couple to come back and pick up their trash. As the mother picks up the candy, she thanks the man for letting them know they dropped it, as her daughter would have been pretty sad when she got home that her candy was missing.
How's this
The
gonna
man
go
then
to a
flashed a badge
felony?
and told the couple that he's a cop and he wants them out of their neighborhood. Due to the fact that he identified as a cop and flashed a badge, the man passing takes out his phone and starts recording while
Good.
asking for his
No
name
public
and
service.
the department that the alleged officer works for. The man identifying as an officer then walks out into the street and attacks the man recording, telling him that he's under arrest.
Has been
The
activated.
man identifying as a cop then calls 911,
Rules
tells the
if you're an
dispatcher that the
officer.
man recording is armed and threatening him. This is the newly released body cam footage from Officer Alyssa Gianantonio, where she repeatedly tells supervisors that she's going to have to arrest the cop because there's a problem. His crime was caught on camera.
All
I
right.
live in this house right here.
I want to see him get arrested.
Off-duty Metro. They're coming
See
through
that?
and
I don't know if it's safe to pause this. Okay. You see, he drops that like that was supposed to be his out. He expected that greeting any and all officers like off-duty Metro over here. Don't. This is all, as you know, going to be just a waste of your time. Hey, you want to get bowling later or want bowling? Oh God, I don't even bowl, so that's why it sounds so unnatural when I propose to go bowling. Hey, let's you and I get the puck and throw it through the net to knock over the pins to score it with the pigskin. Yay, go sports. Okay, there you go. And I'll get you a beer after this. You know what I mean, bro? So yeah, no, cops get the same damn treatment. It is the number one rule for us to witness this kind of consistency. Otherwise, they're no better than the elites that get away with the worst white collar crime in the world, human trafficking, and just, all the nitty gritty stuff that the rich people do. Big Cat, thank you, brother. As always, let me continue to see this cop lose his career. Big Cat, you the man. Thank you, bro.
So I confronted him.
Mhm.
I was actually being really nice to him and his wife and asked him to just pick it up and go. And then he starts filming me and yelling at me. So unfortunately, we got in a little tussle.
Only tyrants and fascists fear the public getting nothing more than the actual information and the truth. If this public servant is so concerned about his image being plastered anywhere or recorded, he certainly picked the wrong line of work to go and serve the people. Because to serve the people, you must be transparent with the people.
On video, don't lie, because they're going to see it. All on video. And now it just got to a point where I was like, I got to call you guys out here. So that's where we are. I don't want to prosecute or anything like that. I really just wanted to
don't want to prosecute.
When it got to the point of I'm trying to talk with him. I haven't had a whole lot of luck. I'm just homeless and
I pulled out my phone and asked his name and badge.
that's where we are.
I hear a very different version in the background.
Whatever. He seems like a good guy. What's that?
Sounds like a good guy as he's
You're
playing.
about to be famous, dude.
Oh, our victim, our law-abiding citizen, knows that this cop got.
Mhm.
Right.
You fucked up.
What's he do?
So he's trying to keep the calmness so he looks like the winner.
Is it like a website they use or something?
He wants these guys gone.
Well, that's what it is. Just let him do it. But, just not want to let him go.
Let him go. This is, man, is this after they saw the footage?
You want to go back in your driveway and we'll talk to him?
Yeah. All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Now with the thanks and all that. Okay, fascinating.
All because I pulled my phone out and asked him for his name and badge number.
I'm not joking.
Public
You can see on
officials
video,
don't
he
want to be
charges at
public.
me, throws me to the ground.
He said
right there
you're
in
under
the
arrest.
driveway.
I'm
You
putting you in
too.
handcuffs. And
Threw my
literally,
phone.
I had him on. Yeah.
Had me, he
I
had his
said,
knee in my
dropped Skyler's
throat.
bag of candy as we were
He
walking.
had his knee
walking
in my
Kroger.
throat.
Hold on, one at a time.
Full
Okay.
Sorry,
felony.
No, you're
walking
fine.
to
Moron.
Kroger and I accidentally dropped Skyler's candy. He thought I dropped her trash in his out of the edge of his
Came
driveway.
out
And I
irate.
said, no, I'm sorry. It's actually her bag of candy. I didn't mean to drop it. So I picked it up and he said, okay. Well, the next time I don't know. It just kind of went from one thing to the next.
Because he
Next thing I know,
identified
Reminds
as
me
a
of
cop.
something
So I
very
said, so what is
disturbing.
your name and badge number if you're a cop? And that's when he pulled out something out of his pocket.
Just briefly, today I saw a video. Let me switch it up so you guys can kind of see me clearly. Okay, I watched a video today. I would like to watch those audit the audit channels. I like to watch audit the police, not because I'm any wannabe sovereign citizen. I just like to see people exercising their rights. I like to see people that know their rights, and I like to learn from these people. So there was this officer who went into this. I could have played it for you, but I didn't have this plan this morning. Officer runs in on a call that somebody had pulled a firearm out when the manager of a hotel told them to disperse. And the manager clearly tells the cop it's a white male. So this officer, gung ho, freaking Jean-Claude Van Damme ready, runs outside, sees the exit door, and an African American. I'm not going to be one of these people that's afraid to say black because it's already happened. I've noticed other people, they're so nervous talking in general. They walk on eggshells so much that it's pitiful. So, okay, now a black dude walked out through the exit door of the hotel. Jean-Claude Van Damme, with a badge, pointed his firearm immediately at the man and started shouting. Clearly, this man did not fit the description. What does our officer on a power trip who clearly got bullied and perhaps maybe touched by Uncle Bob way back in the day do? He says, "You fit the description of a man that pulled a firearm. Get down!" And the guy came out with his hands up and everything, and just that officer is banned from policing forever. We have far too many small examples, few and far between, where the police or the executors of the law or the people in charge or the elite get their just desserts. So, that being said, hey, that one girl, Allie, it's good to finally catch you on a live. All right, I'm scared. Did I mess it all up? No, I didn't. Okay, I got to go here. I got to hit this button here. Yeah, okay, I'm getting really good. Oh, man, I'm going to get the big bucks.
I guess it's that
I might
badge he's
skip.
holding. And
You know, I want to
ran
skip
towards me,
the assault.
threw me
It's
down.
recorded. Here we go. This is where they show
Sorry,
it.
I'm kind of shaky
Never-
because I
Star!
was
Oh,
not
man.
excitement.
Don't scare me, bro.
You're fine. You don't have to.
All right, so always record the policeman. Do not be intimidated just because they got the badge, the
name
gun.
and badge number.
Are we going to get to see the
The
footage?
volume. It looks like volume cut.
Yeah, I don't know.
He assaulted this man,
See,
put his knee on his neck.
Dude, he's
And
right.
he's
And
got
remember-
me on the ground.
He's got him on the ground.
The officer just got done telling the other officers, I was real nice to them and everything. I just told them, please don't drop your trash in my yard.
Pinned down, like literally, like had him like.
That's where he threw my phone. Now he's got me. You know how y'all maneuver? Cops take people down, put their knee in their fucking chest and throat. That's what he did to me.
Like pinned down to where. Like,
But you see, I was doing nothing. I was standing in the road. I
This
said,
guy's
"What is your
very
name and
invested
badge?"
now.
Does the volume do that?
That
Yeah.
makes me proud. It makes me proud when another officer recognizes that he sees something wrong, no matter what, regarding the thin blue line. And shout out to my homeboy who wants to be an officer. He did the test. I don't know where he's at with this, and I won't mention his name. I got nothing but love for you, bro. But we had our discourse and debate back in the Stuck Middle days, and he stood by the fact that the thin blue line and cops looking out for each other and covering for each other never happened. There was no official report to back that claim up. Well, here's yet another example. Here's an example of where that thin blue line broke because it took a good man to step right over it. Everybody knows. Come on, to deny that even exists was asinine, and that was the moment I became concerned about you getting a badge. I still respect you like a brother, dude. That's just real talk.
I'm trying to figure out what happened.
I was screaming the whole time.
Oscar, you were probably there that
Get
night.
off my daddy. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm telling
The
dude, get off.
5-year-old was the 5-year-old was just savage 5-year-old moment. I gave him the finger. Awesome. You keep going, honey.
That was not nice. Even if you are a cop, if you're off duty, why are you pinning people across the road over a bag of candy that didn't mean to get dropped? Like,
Yeah, it was an
and we
accident.
weren't even in
The
his
5-year-old
road.
is making this cop look like a
The
dumbass
bag of candy got dropped in the middle of the road.
on accident. Oh,
Sir, what the fuck are you doing? Sir. My phone, man.
that's a struggle. There's the 5-year-old crying.
Tell me that's appropriate. Popping off
He's got his knee in my chest. Literally all his body weight pushing in my throat.
over a bag of candy.
All because I pulled out my phone and said, "What if you're a cop? What is your name and badge number?"
He pulled out his phone and
So I want
requested
to
public
confirm.
Just sit tight,
information
okay? Just
from a
stand over here.
public
If you guys want to
official.
grab this stuff, you
Okay.
can bring it over here.
Just a second, okay.
Okay.
I do want to put first.
Thank you, Queen. What's up, Red?
Go ahead.
Red, you're another one I want to get up on here. Let's see you speak elsewhere. I like to cut your jib.
He's got the whole thing on video.
What we got? A supervisor?
Jeremiah was in the street. He came over and
Newly arriving. Okay. Newly arriving officer Beagley has no idea what happened, but he knows that the cameraman regularly records police and claims that he would therefore believe the off-duty cop's story. Whoa. So this is the problem that auditors run into time and time again, and it's devastating, and it should enrage every American. So auditors volunteer their free time to flex our rights for other people, for themselves, and for the greater good, truly the greater good. So this cop comes on scene, Officer Begley, and automatically assumes, because the cameraman is always trying to get the cops doing something wrong, he already assumes that the cameraman is somehow in the wrong, and he was ready to stand up for the cop who was in the wrong. Oh man, that makes me so irate.
Back.
That he would therefore believe the off-duty cop story. Is that what they're whispering?
Who? Talk about what?
When Jeremiah came on his property first.
They're trying to make an argument.
I didn't see any of that on the video.
The officer was justifiable in his aggression. They came on his property and they threw trash. They dropped trash in the middle of the road.
No, we talked to him, but they weren't on his property when he did that. They were in the middle of the street, and it's on video. He literally attacked him.
You're on video. You're screwed. Can't hide it.
I don't know why.
It's too public now.
Where
the internet is the good guy.
They weren't on his property when he did it.
Let that empower you. What's up?
They were actually like down where my car is, right over here.
Queen, we appreciate you, girl. Don't you ever worry about a thing.
I mean, I'm gonna believe that dude over here.
He was just told that there is video showing the cop was wrong, but he still claims that he believes the cop over the video. Okay, remember the thing I just said about the thin blue line? Here is a concrete example, even in the face of evidence, even learning about concrete evidence that cannot be disproved unless you're Doctor Strange casting a spell, summoning 3 Spider-Mans to save the day and rewind time. I don't know. This officer is so hell-bent on that thin blue line that my buddy said never existed, right? Being the saving grace, and does not believe anything presented. I want to see all of them break. I want to see this officer get charged with his felony, and I want to see this cop that's advocating the destruction of our Constitution.
I'm just saying that being that it's on video, we're gonna have a problem here being who he is too. We're gonna have a problem. Cop or not, it's recorded.
Cop or not, it's recorded. Ooh, this whispering is juicy. Officer, bear with me. Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, Splinter, and Leonardo believes that if she doesn't arrest the off-duty cop, it's the lady cop, the cameraman will go straight to the DA and press felony charges. I think that would also result in a state lawsuit where we, the taxpayers, foot the bill. The qualified immunity, somebody correct me, but the qualified immunity that officers have dictate that they do not have to face or pay the consequences. No, nor the department. That's our tax-funded resources, and it's not even the department that gets charged. Nope, our tax dollars go every time there is a lawsuit. Look up your own jurisdiction. Look up qualified immunity. That's why there was a big deal about it. If I'm wrong anywhere, please clarify. So the officer in the car is asking her to look for a misdemeanor to slap the off-duty. Oh my God, a clear felony, and he's still looking for a way out. Everybody involved needs to go down, while making it easier for the off-duty cop to weasel out of this without a felony. Man, you got.
We're gonna do a report for him because he's asking for it, but and I do believe he's probably gonna go get a warrant on him. I'm sure.
742, signal 14.
No, I know, because it's on video, but this is what Jeremiah does.
The lady has to keep nailing home. It's on video. It's inescapable.
And this guy let him do it. Well,
Thank you for clarifying about this immunity thing, because I'm not 100% on it.
That he just attacked them.
I don't blame him.
I don't. Oh my God, this is sickening. I'm glad I saved this for a first time watch, but every officer involved in this little powwow, they're justifying the aggression, the unlawful attack. Okay, essentially they're saying, dude, it's okay, he's one of us, he broke the law, and that makes it cool. All right, and those guys over there, they don't wear a badge, so screw them. And the feet they walked in on the yard on all this property that's public, screw them all. They're not one of us. Get them out of here. I don't blame them. This is all wrong. Let's fight it in court. Let's put these good Samaritans in jail or something. This is so backwards.
Then, regardless, he should know.
ECB. Very refreshing to see you, man. Sincerely.
If you're being reported, it's probably going to go somewhere, and they weren't on your property when you just attacked them. They had left.
The secret of the whole silence approach is so disconcerting. See, now take this kind of thing and amplify it. Put a microphone to it and just multiply it by infinity. And think about all the things that our elites and our so-called elected officials, our lobbyists, and our corrupt politicians do in their own powwows behind closed doors and pass bills that is always funded by legislation, and it's 800 pages long, so they can fit things that can't even be read in time or explained to the public. Something similarly just happened in France, only the French people are actually doing something about it, and that's a topic that's perhaps for later. But just imagine this kind of shit. Okay, we're seeing this on the lowest level. It happens on the highest, and that's the stuff we don't hear about.
The problem on that.
I'm gonna get out of here.
I don't know if the nah, like, all due respect, I don't know if the nah was like, nah, that's not probable, possible, but I have become radicalized against my own government, and I'm willing to state that. I will pay my taxes, I will do my job, and I will not break the law. But I do not believe that our government serves the people, we the people, anymore, and I haven't believed that in a very, very long time. I think a couple wild cards got thrown into the bunch, and they tried to start some things, but look at everything that happened as a result. Look at the madness that has happened when we had somebody trying to accomplish things that didn't tote the line or the status quo. And then look at the chaos that came. Oh, a once-in-a-lifetime unprecedented pandemic? Well, why not? Of course. We were just going to get to keep our patent rights and agree to have China no longer make knockoffs, thus making us a powerhouse of manufacturing yet again. But oh, look, well, null and void. We got to shut everything down. Yeah.
I guess you saw the video.
Sorry, I might be a little radicalized, okay?
So I just said, all right, I'm going to pop up, and that's when I called 911.
Yes, sir.
And he was trying to arrest the man for refusing to leave a public street. This is why you don't talk to cops. Look, this is okay. When I was 19, was it 18 or 19? When I got arrested, I could have just shut my mouth. The cop lied to me, manipulated me because I didn't know my rights. He gave me the whole BS line. Do you fit a description of somebody doing this, blah, 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 in the trailer parks, robbing, and you can either wait here or wait for the canine to come here and search you. I could have, had I known at that young age, say, am I being detained? What law have I broken? So, oh well, that's history and expunged.
So, can you go back to the beginning? I know you said you saw him walking.
So he was
here.
on
the final nails in the coffin of his career.
I threw a giant bag of trash right here in my front yard. So I came out and said, hey guys,
I want to see him arrested.
I need you to pick up the trash.
Department that she doesn't believe her partner is going to do the right thing, and that if he doesn't, she will make the arrest. We don't know whether she was trying to do
Hold on.
knows that the off-duty cop needs to be arrested for felony assault, but she can already tell that her partner isn't going to have the courage to do the right thing. So she grabs her phone and walks away to call a higher-up. She informs one of her higher-ups at the department that she doesn't believe her partner is going to do the right thing and that if he doesn't, she will make the arrest.
I want to follow up on everything. When did this happen? Was this last year? March 24th, 1 a.m.
We don't know whether she was trying to do the right thing because it's the right thing or whether she was just trying to cover her own ass, knowing for a fact that this was going to end up all over the internet.
At least this woman was thinking ahead and had some actual integrity and foresight, because if it were up to her partner, this entire precinct would be having some sort of protest or deregulate. Who knows? But I'm glad in this case, even though it took a battle and hardcore evidence in the face of naysayers that would not break the thin blue line, to stand by the truth. You get the good guy, bad guy, pretending to be a good guy, put away. He calls the higher up.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
on video. Oh, okay, we got some of the conversation. Hold on. He's not happy to do this.
Hey, so I guess he's gonna do the report, but he went and attacked this guy when he wasn't even on his property, like threw him to the ground and everything, and it's all on video. Over some trash that they threw in his yard, but picked up. They weren't on his property when he went after Jeremiah.
My question, while I fully agree, you have a good, strong local community and everything needs to begin as grassroots. I absolutely believe, especially given my background. But when you look at the top, does something need to, like grassroots, bottom to top, and then things are restructured? But I think we're at a point where things need to be torn down from top to bottom. But I don't know. That's a conversation for another time that I'm absolutely willing to have. I'm just so disenfranchised.
From there, you see him leave his driveway and go into the street and then attack Jeremiah. Yes, all on video.
He's like, and did you say it's on video? But you can see his face and everything. Could you hear him? Could you doctor it real quick? Can you just, like, I don't know, drop the phone and smash it? Say it was an accident?
Yeah. No, he's not. Well, he said that he wasn't
encouraged to arrest.
He didn't think we should arrest for that.
Well, imagine if that's your son or your daughter. Let's just change the whole scenario. You witness an officer do something wrong to one of your family members. You're going to be irate and you're going to want justice served, because we know what happens when it falls onto the people. Mob mentality, and you get the ugliest of the ugly when you get us, when we don't feel we are being served our due diligence. So, man, oh man, just imagine to see an officer walk away because they lack the conviction to do what's right, and you were wronged. Again, thank goodness and props to this woman standing by to ensure a happy ending.
Beasley.
But it's on video
and
on the phone.
But
they're still focused on the video. Dude, I'm filming everything. I am taping my.
It being on video is.
This is how many times are you gonna say video?
Yeah, it's a problem. And he shows his badge and says I'm a cop and everything.
Lock him up.
And he was trying to arrest him in the middle of the street. Yes. 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 Yeah.
How hard is it to make this decision? You got all the evidence in the world. Get her done. Thank you.
He told him to get his hands and put them behind his back. And Jeremiah's filming as he always does.
Still explaining.
And then he comes at him, and you can literally see the scuffle on camera. The whole camera starts shaking and crap.
Look at all of the effort just to allow her to do her job. Just to allow her to do her job and arrest a man that broke the law. But because he is the law, suddenly, oh my God, look at all the defense. This is why the officers get the best defense and they got their unions. They hardly feel the consequences of their actions, or they get to just go practice elsewhere at another precinct or district. And that paid time off is always such a punishment.
His daughter's
I
screaming.
don't mean to be fully anti-cop here. It's just when I see our inalienable rights getting completely reamed like they mean nothing, yeah, I'll get a little anti-something, okay? But I have nothing but respect and honor for those that abide by the code of law and carry out their duty with honor.
Crying, and he said he had his knee on the back of his neck. Yeah. Yeah, I'm having a problem with this because it's all on video, and he already hems us up enough, and it's all on video. And he wants to prosecute, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him. So call Joe Mack and I guess call Brown, because if he doesn't arrest him, I'm going to have to take over and do it, because I have a problem with that, because he literally told us I was trying to detain him, but I didn't have cuffs on me. That's what he said. No, you're trying to. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Please, let me see this man get cuffed. Please get cuffed. I want the money.
When she turns back around to make the arrest, this is what's happening. This particular part of the incident is easier to see and hear from Jeremiah's point of view.
Okay. Jeremiah. Is that your name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Detective William Thorogood with Metro Police. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm not trying to hurt you. Don't want to scare you. I'm really sorry for the confrontation I had in front of your child. Okay? I feel really bad about that. And I just want to apologize to you.
Too late,
so I am
asshole.
sorry for upsetting your kid, especially around the holiday season. So
Yeah, because she's never going to forget that now, and she's going to look at cops as pieces of shits because of you.
you're absolutely right. Taking that into consideration. Apologize to you.
I try to teach my kid that not all cops are bad. There are good cops, and then you come out and do shit like that.
That's why he
Please
was
just hear me
arrested
out, okay?
and made an example
All
of.
right, can you hear me out?
I hear you.
All right. Let me just swallow my pride here and say I apologize for upsetting you and your family. Okay.
All your pride.
That's
Would you like a nugget?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maxwell. I'm not going to take for you guys during the holiday
I'm gonna
season.
go get him a
Okay.
nugget.
So
Skylar in the background says she is going to get a chicken nugget for the man that just attacked her father.
I'm trying to be man enough and apologize, which is a hard thing for cops to do.
Man, this has kind of been heartwarming and breaking and all kinds of bittersweet. This is a catch-22 right here, man. Man, oh man. Right now, this is not sincerity. This is fear. This is fear, and his brazen arrogance, narcissism, psychopathy, it needs to be punished.
And I just hope that
It don't matter if you're a cop or not.
accept my apology.
It's hard
Okay?
to
I just
relate.
didn't like the litter in my
I better
yard.
get used to doing this because I'm
She didn't mean to drop
doing
it,
this
but
a
to
lot
go to
more
that
often.
extent, because I pulled out my phone and asked you for your name and badge number.
Oh yeah,
Really?
no.
Come on now.
CB.
That's being.
Guys with a phone,
I get
bro.
this,
No, he's right. No, hold on.
but that's being a tyrant.
Jeremiah, listen to me.
Do you not agree with that?
100%, you're right, and I apologize. And I want you to understand how hard it is for me to.
Oh, I know how hard it is for cops. I know. I'm a First Amendment auditor. I know.
All right, well, we need more people.
Jeremiah's the auditor. Oh, he's also the
Extend my
boss.
hand to you if you're man enough to shake it.
Oh, I'm man enough to shake your hand.
Okay, now arrest him.
Is it alright if we leave it at that, sir?
Yeah. I'm still gonna post the video though. I mean,
That's your legal right. I'm not going to stop you from doing that.
Yes, sir.
At this
This guy just okay. All right, I just interrupted. This guy just wants to leave it at that. That is everything that's wrong. Where's the woman? Save the
time,
day.
Jeremiah claimed that he didn't want to press charges against the off-duty cop. He just wanted to post the video to YouTube to show the world what happened. Jeremiah told me that as he was leaving, Detective Thorogood shoved something into Jeremiah's pocket while asking him to please not post the video on social media. Jeremiah claims that when he reached into his pocket, he found that Thorogood had given him $80. As you can see,
Oh my God, bribery. This man committed a felony assault in front of this 5-year-old daughter and has the audacity to give us that pathetic lie of an apology, which is nothing out of fear to save his own skin. And then he puts money in his pocket with a request to not post it. Oh my God! If the laws were where we live in a complete facade where we are just ignorant enough that we hope things go right, and this is why we're at this just teetering edge, this crossing point beyond no return, and we know it, where things have been just so broken that we're ready for the worst. The world is on fire and we're tired of burning. Otherwise, the fire is doused with a little bit of just mediocre half-assery, and then life goes on. This is why we're at the point we are.
He posted the video on social media anyways. Well, at this time, Jeremiah claimed that he didn't
Felony assault, born a Hawkeye.
want to file charges against Thorogood. 2 days later, he did go into the district attorney's office and show them his video. The DA then filed 2 charges against Thorogood for 2 counts of felony aggravated assault, which will go before a grand jury for indictment on January 18th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Immediately upon returning to work after this incident, Detective Thorogood was decommissioned as a police officer by the Nashville Metropolitan Police Department where he worked. As seen in Jeremiah's original video, which is linked below, Thorogood made a false claim to 911 operators that a homeless man was armed and advancing towards him. Since the video contradicted the...
When the power gets to control the narrative. Thank goodness that wasn't the case. We had one good person that had some sort of seat of authority and honest civilians. And that's what it took. And the threat of exposure. Always in the light, the darkness will fail to prevail.
Detective's false report, his integrity has been called into question and jeopardized all of the past and current cases that he's working on.
I mean, you should watch the video. He looks crazy, charging at him in the middle of the street.
Sir? What the fuck are you doing? Sir.
Hey, excuse me, boss. I have a quick question.
Okay, hold on now. I don't know. It's cut and dry. Like I get very, very like emotionally angry, for lack of a better word, when I see something like that go down, and I just know that these little happy endings that are nicely, they have a bow put on them and presented to us like that, and the story culminates to a satisfactory conclusion, are just too damn few and far between, and the laws are not on our side. Now, I was not able to get the clip that I'm gonna briefly talk about, but since it's in the D Libby, I don't know if I said hello, but if it's I put it in the title, I have to speak about this, and this is probably gonna be the topic, no matter how brief, that gets this video demonetized. But the truth has to be spoken, and we have to speak about things that are uncomfortable. Otherwise, what the hell is the point of having a platform under the guise of free speech? We can't have just a veiled version of free speech. It's all or nothing. So, Tennessee, the terrible tragedy that happened in Tennessee. I'm going to be very careful with my wordsmithery here, but you know what I'm talking about, where people were unalive, children, so on and so forth. I did see and find the video of the culprit getting caught and done. So, active militancy getting pepper sprayed and taken to the... Yeah, too much of that. Too much of that. Okay, so I assume and I hope that you all know what I'm referring to, what happened in Tennessee this morning, okay? It was another mass pew-pew. And it's heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching. So my mother, 78 years old, she's watching The View. And so I go to, pay her a little visit, and I can't help but hear the entirety of the conversation wasn't about any of the nuance of, I don't know, the mental health of the individual, or, and this is dangerous to say, could this get me canceled? I would shout from a mountaintop and ask those that would judge or condemn me for just stating something that's true to just say you're doing it for nothing more and no other reason than that you're putting me down because I'm talking the truth. Now, first I discovered this via a meme, then I did the research of the meme. Now, it's dangerous to broad stroke entire groups, and that's not what I'm doing. That's done to plenty of other groups, and sometimes it seems okay, which is beyond me. It's either not okay or it is okay, okay? Okay. So I'm just going to say it. All right, we have now 4 or 5. Don't throw me off the mountain yet. 4 or 5 incidents where we have a mass pew pew situation scenario done by now 4 or 5 members of the LGBTQ, all in the T category. Okay. Is it okay to bring this up? Can we begin to look at the mental issues occurring? This is not a homophobic slight. I'm asking a question for the sake of dialogue. When can we start talking about whatever is going on, be it the gender dysphoria or whatever they feel they're experiencing in society? I do want to get my hands on this manifesto, and I want to propose a question to the public. We, the people, should have the power. This trans man that's a woman, right? She used to go to this Christian school. Okay. Her mother worked at a nearby church, and I am, based on some of the minor factoids I was able to find, I'm somewhat convinced that she chose to lash out at Christianity. Now, the other 4 or so cases of a member of the T of the LGBTQ community that have all chosen the same route to be heard. When can we start looking at that, just as we profile incels and something like that? How many times does something like this have to occur before we start taking a more logistic scientific approach to understand the foundation of a problem? It cannot be dangerous to ask these questions. It cannot be just not okay if we're ever going to help or hope to find some sort of understanding, because it can't be what the View spent 15 minutes talking about nonstop. You know what their debate was? Can you take a guess? I bet you're already thinking it before I said it. They were debating how we should all not have access at all to the firearms that are constitutionally granted to us. That nobody should or has any reason to own. First, they started real hyperbolic. You don't need a tank. You don't need an RPG. She called it the shoulder thing and went, yeah, thanks, Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg has been demanded to apologize, has been called to be canceled so many times that I find it ironically stupid that she dares to talk about anything being taken off the table. So just, put your money where your mouth is, okay? You want things to go away? Why don't you start? Get in line. Don't mess with our Constitution. You think taking away our very own rights that have been with us since the foundation of our country is going to solve this problem? I never thought years ago I would do this equivalency. But in China, there are mass this, okay? I don't want to say the STAB word, but there are mass stabbing events where 18 people or more are done unalived. So a lack of firearms had no bearing on these tragedies. So for 15 minutes, these crazy women were talking about how we need to take away our firearm access, and that is just not the damn solution. And these women need to be tarred and feathered and pranced around. You remember Game of Thrones? I never watched it much, but there was the scene of that woman that was in power, and everybody followed her and went with the bell, shame, shame, shame. That is who needs to be shamed. The women of that panel, I'm not even sure that they had an advocate of the other side. And if they did, it was just so weak that they just poked right through it and appealed to every easy hyperbolic talking point possible, to not focus on the actual problems or the mental health or issues or whatever. They try to simplify it and make it about something so much larger and bigger than them, and they try to make it seem small, which bothers me because we're talking about our damn Second Amendment right, which is a sacred right. Okay, last thing. What was this? No, we're not gonna. Oh, this is copywritten, so I cannot play it, unfortunately. And I think I summed it up nicely enough. I did want to show briefly. It is in the title. I said X. Okay, Russell Brand is my dog. All right, he has definitely become one of my favorite podcasters. Let me get this right. Last clip of the night. Okay. I didn't know what was happening in France, but I'll tell you this much, okay? And I'm proud of this. The working class people have made it very clear that they don't appreciate it when democracy, as we know it, it's supposed to work or not in our favor, as it's just supposed to work. We're supposed to have the right to vote on big issues and bills and things of that sort. Well, Macron, the French prime minister, ambassador, I don't know, they forced a vote without taking any feedback from their constituency. That sounds a little familiar. So here's what's and basically what they did was ensure that the French people's pension goes for. I mean, this is laughable to Americans. We live to work and yeah, that's it. We live to work and work to live. We work hard. I think we're one of the hardest working countries in the world, which is what makes it even more heartbreaking when we get the shittiest end of the stick. But France, they have something that they call, he'll tell you, a certain quality of life that they've been accustomed to for so many years and centuries. And that was to work up to the age of 62. The government forced the vote. Now they have to work till 67. And they didn't let the people have a word. Now that caused a little stir.
Spanish, certainly.
French people angry after President Emmanuel Macron forced through a pension reform bill without a vote.
Forced through a pension reform bill without a vote. It's meant to be democracy, isn't it? Should we get a vote on this thing where we make people work another 2 years? No. What's the point? What if they were to say no? Then I wouldn't be able to do what I want. Okay, good point. Just put it through.
Thursday afternoon, France's Prime Minister Elizabeth Borne, an ally of Macron, triggering a constitutional tool.
So see, you have two people in the position of power. So you have the leader, and then they needed, I guess it's something like the House and the Senate. So one person had to take the action and propose it, and the other one had to force it through like a little, I have nothing nice to say, so I'm not going to say it at all.
That allowed the bill through with no floor vote. The uproar, immediate opposition members shutting down Parliament, belting the French national anthem.
French politics is more sexy, isn't it? It's a bit madder in there. Our one says, oh, they put it to the honourable gentleman.
Have our
or some other issue. When a public coalesces around something and acts as one, we literally have the power that democracy is supposed to afford us.
Why is
when we coalesce around one thing, one topic, which is why when I still observe these YouTube streets and I'm watching drama over doxing and people talking about this is where that guy lives, no, this is where he lives, and they spend days upon weeks, hours and 10 hours talking about the most utter nonsense, and this is what's happening in the world. Please get your priorities straight. Why do all the views go to the easy, like low-hanging fruit? Is it because it's low? Don't let what you reach for be a reflection of your own intelligence.
62 to 64 a big deal? To be able to work and as well to have our proper life and good health. She's talking about a
Believe it or not, and I'm not saying France is any better than us, okay? But they did have a kind of gold standard, an understanding. They'll work up until this point, and then they'll enjoy their golden years. We don't even have that anymore. That was taken away from us years ago, a couple decades ago.
Quintessential French value of work.
I'm speaking for everybody.
Life balance.
Literal joie de vivre, the joy of life. I mean, you might have forgotten this. You're meant to enjoy your life. It's not meant to be endured. It's not meant to be, I'm alive. Oh God, isn't this terrible? The corruption and the lies and the heartbreak and the despair and the pointless senselessness and the charade of it.
Life is meant to be enjoyed, not survived or endured every day until you're exhausted and ready to break. There's more to it. And I hate to say, the French seem to have a better grasp of this than your regular American worker. We kick their ass in work. I just think because born and bred American over here, and I've done nothing but work with Americans, and damn it, we are the hardest workers. We should be doing better. We should have better deals. Everything should be better. But coulda, shoulda, woulda, too late. So now I guess France's government wants to see it a little more Americanized. I don't know, pinching their pennies and making them work longer.
Just looking at things on the screen that don't mean anything and eating food that's not quite right in the sense that there's something just out of your reach, some connection, some beauty, some joy that's not for you, that you're being deprived of. It's meant to be enjoyable. And let me tell you this, it's possible. And it's so exciting, for me at least, to see many people come together as they did in the Yellow Vest protests of a year or so ago in such quick succession. Let's face it, this is a time of crisis, one crisis often leading to another, whether it's military or medical or financial. We're seeing the necessity for radical change, and we're seeing the opportunity that mass action.
And it seems to be, I think it was pointed out in the comments there, global. Like, the governments around the world are doing such crazy just moves and flexes of their power. To me, it's almost like they're just seeing how far they can go. And don't get me started, I have to do a whole rumble about more information we got about the vid and how the labs are still messing with the original strains.
Can create. What we do not yet have is a cohesive response to the existing corruption, a vision and an agenda for how to bring it about. And obviously that's what we want to develop with you. We don't want to just tell you isn't everything crap all the time. You know that, I know that. What are we going to do about it?
C'est dégueulasse, quoi. On se dit, à quoi
what's the point of having a
ça sert d'avoir une assemblée nationale?
What is the point of having a national assembly if they ignore you? What's the point of having Congress if they ignore you and respond instead to the...
What's the point of voting for politicians that have legal pay-to-play corrupt politics? It's in the law, and corporations can also legally vote, and we have super delegates whose vote is 10,000 times more valuable than yours and mine. Like, honestly, what is the sense? How is this logical?
Edict suggested by the lobbying money and your own interest if you own stocks and shares. What's the point in voting in our parliament if they have a second job that pays them more money? Democracy in its current...
We have to stand up. And I feel like the time, I don't ever mean to sound like an end times profiteer or, I don't like scare tactics. But if we keep on staying so timid while the powers that be continue to just push the envelope of what they can do, it'll be too late. And I don't want to ever wake up and say that and feel it in my bones and my soul. That'll be the day I give up.
Form isn't working anywhere. This kind of populist energy that people fear is exactly what's required. This transcends the cultural issues that have come to define our time, which are important for all of us. We should all learn how to accept.
Do me a favor, by the way, I wasn't feeling too good and somebody called out at work and I had to work all day. If you find the content worthy, please feel free to hit the like button. It means a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already. That's all.
There's many ways to be human. Traditional, progressive. Let's get on with that stuff, shall we? But this is what we really need for us to come together and confront centralized power. And as long as we're caught up in that quarrel, we're not going to be able to do this.
A recent poll by AFP finds a majority of the French support the protest movement against pension reform, and 59% support bringing the country to a standstill over it.
Thank you, Queen Survivor. As I've told you, you're my guardian angel, and you've done so much. Thank you, and I still get weird about thank yous and goodbyes. But I appreciate the kindness and the support.
They're radical, aren't they, the French? 60% of them. Let's bring it to a standstill.
But as his country descended deeper into chaos, Emmanuel Macron stepped out in Belgium for an EU conference with a wink.
Hey, we are corrupt. We're ignoring democratic procedure. But the idea that Macron is out of touch is unfair and untrue. He knows exactly what time it is.
Et les blocages, il faut pouvoir les lever quand ils empêchent l'activité normale.
There's a country, and I wanted to say France, but I have a feeling it was South America. This is one of the most beautiful things I've seen when it comes to seeing power restored or exercised by we the people. There was nothing but working class citizens, maybe a couple of homeless people, respectfully rallied around some official building where some hearings or allegations were being read publicly. And the leadership, the politicians in their suits, in their Armani suits, came walking out with their suitcases. Do you know what we the people, or at least those people over there, until one day I could probably say over here, you know what they did when they saw these individuals that were responsible for misallocated funds and corruption? They reached through security like they were nothing, got a hold of the politicians, lifted them up over their hands, and threw them all in the dumpster. I'm going to find that video and I'm going to post it as a standalone.
Mal de négocier et ensuite de réquisitionner.
Oh, God, I've missed you. It's good to see you, B. Well, just my heart, okay? It's good to see you.
Been reported that Macron, in that interview, took off his ridiculous, Larry, sexy gold watch because he was sort of saying,
in the midst of appealing to an actual respectful, honorable working class, he had to remember in the midst of his hypocritical speech that he was wearing some hugely expensive Rolex, and he actually removed it because you can't really appeal to the lower class when you're flashing all that bling, now can you? Hypocrisy, discovering its hypocrisy in real time, is something that should be captured and rinse and repeat and played again in some art museum somewhere.
Mom, we've all got to work together for a fairer France. Oh, shit, I'm rich. Vive la France! So, let's explain the basics of this story, the pension reform bill, why it was bypassed, and what this...
They already have the majority. We got 60% that they don't like how the vote was conducted, and 59% that didn't like the actual vote that was done. So, you have the majority who don't like the process and who don't like the results. So, why? All right, so let me show you some of the clips of what's happening in the streets. I want to see, I hope, I have some spark of optimism that maybe the French people can be a shining beacon. And they're literally, in Russell Brand's comments, there's French people calling out to you, me, all of us, any part of the country that you're in. Look at the first comment. Hopefully Americans will start standing up like Europe. I didn't see that one earlier. See more been coming. It's amazing to see the power of the French people coming together for a common goal. You got to admire, okay, I saw one earlier when this video was posted that was saying we all need to stand up together and do this.
Story tells us not only about France, but about the whole world. This popular uprising that we're currently experiencing and what we're going to have to do about it to get...
Is he referring to what I keep hearing is the awakening? Because we're very, very aware of how screwed we've been. So now, ball's in our court, right? Am I a dissenting radical for not seeing J6 as the media portrays it? Am I a radical for seeing Pelosi's daughter, Alexandria, pretty much disagree with everything her decrepit, corrupt mother has ever said about J6? Is it that? It's either you are completely with us, or if you dissent, you're against us, you're ostracized, and your voice doesn't matter. But how can that be the case when we are starting to rise in number? Look at social media platforms. There's a mass exodus of YouTubers going to Rumble. I think that's one sign. Crowder did a breakdown. They started at 5,000 to 500,000 to 1 million until the numbers on Rumble overpowered the numbers on YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. Just saying, if anything, take it with a grain of salt and maybe learn censorship is not our favorite look in America or in any country.
together if we're going to do anything other than make minor changes that won't make any bloody difference. The pension reform itself is deeply unpopular, opposed by 70 to 80% of the French
70 to
public.
80.
But the manner
Sorry.
in which the new law was passed, invoking the 49th article of the French Constitution, allowing the Prime Minister to bypass the National Assembly to force through the reforms without a vote, sparked real anger. That Parliament was not consulted is widely perceived as an anti-democratic affront. Ignoring Parliament is anti-democratic. Having politicians that don't represent people is anti-democratic. The world is not democratic. While the scale and intensity of the protests have made media headlines worldwide, the government response has attracted the attention of human rights organisations. Amnesty France has condemned the use of violent and repressive policing tactics. It has highlighted frequent use of dangerous
so now we're seeing what you would expect. Tear gassing and all of the usual, especially in France. It's pretty much the norm. I think at the very beginning I skipped some of the amazing clips of what has happened collectively from class to class. I'm going to remember this part, although I do have to wrap it up soon. I want to show you this.
Reform. Time after time, police sending off baton charges to try and force back the protesters.
We're very quick to criticise the mainstream media on this channel because usually they deserve it. Let us know in the chat and the comments. Honourable gentlemen. Oh, that means something in our one. Over there, someone might take their top off or do a shit.
Frustration fueling strikes, airline to railway service disrupted, garbage piling.
These are the things that we, the people, the working class, control. Just like in Fight Club. Okay, I hate to make the comparison. If we could recognize that if they screw with us enough, we can screw up their entire economy and means of making a profit, then I think we have a hope. So look, this is the result. Yeah, we would have to go through some trying times and pain and discomfort, but it would be for a certain greater good.
Of course, it's not just on the street protests, but organised worker strikes. And I would suggest to you that if you're ever going to get some meaningful change from outside parliamentary or congressional democracy, it's going to require coordinated action. That is why all political parties are ultimately opposed to union movements, because those movements...
That's a discussion I've had it before. Unions, I know they are capable of evil. I know they got a rocky history. But when they truly stand by and benefit the working class, it's a conversation that needs to be had and needs a whole other dedication to it with an open panel for all.
Mean that you have a way of organising against power, whether that's based on justification for the...
Quick commercial, and then I want to hear some of the last stats, and then I have a closing. Like something
status, wealth, and power of the existing elites. They've found a way of legitimizing and justifying hatred of ordinary French people or American people, British people, it doesn't matter, Sri Lankan people, it's irrelevant. They've found a way of saying, look, we're experts, we've been educated. How come you've been so educated?
It's amazing how the elite and those in power of this structure are able to make us hate each other and completely ignore where the problem stems from. It's amazing. Nothing short of amazing.
Educated. Oh, well, because of the class we were born into, the institutions...
It's like setting a fire to a forest and then pointing at one tree that's not on fire and saying it's that tree's fault, and we fall for it somehow. You know what? There's a picture I had taken, and it's too large for me to share on YouTube, which I tried, and it assesses things or describes things in a way that makes sense to me. And it's about, again, basically how an individual, we retain all of our intelligence, but when you cross over to the threshold of controlling the masses, somehow, some way, we default, and they have experts, think tanks that dedicate themselves to control and manipulating the masses to work against our own interests. So there's bigger things at play. I don't have the time. Just always remember that. This is why I always say celebrate your independent thinking, because we need that independent thinking whenever it is that we come together. I hope we see that day, unless we're too busy destroying each other in our tribes that we have been factioned and fractioned into by the mainstream power source.
we had access to. But that cannot continue when people have access to information and education in the ways that we do now, and the ability to create counter narratives and protest movements. So you have to up surveillance, you have to create categorizations of misinformation and disinformation in order to shut down dissent, and you have to increase the government's ability to regulate and control.
Fun reminder, nearly every electronic in your house right now, your phone is a tracking device. There is electronics in the ionizer. Remember, I covered this once before a couple of months ago, where a camera is able to take pictures of your family, and they are also able to identify every single thing. This is not BS. Look it up for yourself, even on Google and or DuckDuckGo or YouTube, or there's no excuse not to be informed anymore. So these cameras, they read every item and they identify who manufactures it, and then boom, all of a sudden your algorithm knows exactly what to advertise to you. We're nothing more than cattle that spend money. It's crazy. I was spending time with a friend when I went to see John Wick 4, and all I did was say something, and boom, it appeared right there on her Amazon Prime seconds after I had said it. And then her phone was on sleep mode. She turns it on, boom, there's the book that I just said. I mean, we're there. The things that we keep on saying we're afraid of, what are we going to wait for? AI to go full blown, whatever happens from there? I just don't know how much further we can fall before we're able to rise. If we fall much further down, when we rise, it won't be tall enough.
Otherwise, there are going to be enormous disruptions. We're seeing it across the world. Whether you like it or not, Brexit and Trump were part of that. The Gilets Jaunes were part of that. These protests are part of it. BLM's part of it. It doesn't matter what they're talking about, whether it
BLM's a part of something. You got that right.
appears to be associated with one cultural group or another cultural group. Ultimately, what people are saying is, we want more power. We want more direct access to power. We want to regulate our own lives. We don't want to be dominated and controlled. That's why continually what we're talking about on this channel is whether you personally are willing to go, oh God, yeah, I do have some prejudices. It's against X, Y, Z. And then go, but in order to change the world, I'm going to sort of open my mind and my heart to the possibility that I could be wrong about that. You might not like the traditional way of life or the progressive way of life. It's sort of irrelevant, actually. Just whatever it is, be willing to go, okay, we'll sort that out later. For now, can we create better systems, which will only happen through, I reckon, this kind of activism and then a cohesive response afterwards. The system is so adept at breaking this stuff down, criminalizing people. Oh, it's only a small, violent minority, blah, blah, blah. They'll find a way of shutting this down, believe you me. Or even bringing in another party that goes, we've dealt with all of that. We're going to reverse that bill. We obviously went too far with that. Sorry. Then they'll find another way of stealing your money that's less obvious. Of course they will. That's how it works. We have to maintain our intention and our focus, accept nothing less than systemic change. That'll mean things like politicians aren't allowed a second job. Politicians aren't allowed to own.
How do we enact these things? These are all things that I know we all want. I'm disheartened though. Hearing it is nice and cozy, but we need action.
Stocks and shares. Political parties aren't allowed to be funded by corporations. There can be no money in politics. Once you start doing stuff like that, you will feel the quaking. You will feel it. The tectonic plates will shift. It's like, hold on, if we can't do that, that would mean that pharma will be regulated differently. Energy will be regulated differently. Big tech will be regulated differently because people would vote for stuff that would improve their lives. As they
I think we get where he's going, and this reminds me of one of the last rallies I watched of Trump's, and which amazed me that it hit close to home with me of all people. Just as Russell Brand was saying, we need to focus our attention on the things that matter the most and how our priorities have kind of switched. I once said the things that were once big are now small, and the things that were once small are now big. Trump said it himself in a joke, and the joke played out in real time in Ohio. He said, I stood at another state and I said we could be energy independent at one time. That would be something that we would all get up and cheer for. But what actually did get the round of applause and the standing ovation for 10 minutes? Simply saying we need to return to parental rights in our schools. So it does require all of us acknowledging the issues that have grown so out of control that need tending to, and sort out the rest. Start maybe as Born a Hawk said, start grassroots style, prioritize, and then execute, meaning attack. Don't take that wrong, YouTube. So I really didn't expect to be on live this long. I got to tell you, though, this little freestyle and it's been great to be on this long and to keep going. And this is truly my catharsis and my therapy, and you are all a part of me becoming a better person, a better version of what I once was. And I will forever be indebted to each and every single one of you every damn day that I am blessed to have this platform. And by God, I have to do something with this platform that matters, or I feel like I have no purpose. And we've learned as human beings, we need to feel like we have a purpose, or we start to feel defeated or complacent. And then we'll all be like the adults in Wall-E, melted into our chairs, no longer walking, paying $50 for fast food because we don't want to do a 5-minute drive. You can see it happening. So now that you see it, recognize it, call it for what it is, and start thinking of what the next plan of action is. I think I'm going to revisit Discord and not so much on congregating for channel views and stuff like that, but for prioritizing problems and how they need to be addressed. So with that being said, thank you all. This felt fantastic. My friend is in rehab. I've lost complete touch with her, but I know she's safer. 2 or 3 days. It doesn't sound selfless when I say it out loud, but I need, just like we don't take compliments easy, I know I helped save her life. She was not going to survive. She was not going to speak to her family. She was going to rot in that car, and she was going to rot in that bed, and she was not eating for 5 days, and she was drinking in the morning and at night. And I told her, it took me 2 damn days, man. We have power with our voice. Now imagine if we can make that one voice into many. Good night. Tend to one another and yourself like a garden. Good night.